Swadika, thank you for joining us on Newsline. We are broadcasting live on NBT, Radio Thailand FM 88, and on NBT World. It's Friday, September the 18th, and you're with me, Prachira Kausan. Welcome to today's segment of Thailand Moves Forward. In our first story, Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha on Thursday presented the Prime Minister's Export Award 2015 to Thai exporters with excellent performance, and then presided over the opening ceremony of Thailand Innovation and Design Expo 2015 held at the Queen's Circuit National Convention Center. The Prime Minister congratulated the exporters on their success, emphasizing that their business was a crucial power to drive Thai economy to prosperity. However, the exporters may need wider networks with other countries to strengthen the structure of export chain. He said Thai government has ordered all authorities relevant to the export sector to concentrate on actual consumer demands and market mechanism. They should keep going on with the suggested path in parallel with creating value-added innovation and competitiveness of Thai exporters. They should also produce workforce precisely matching demand of labor market by promoting vocational education. He confirmed the government has taken the mission seriously. Meanwhile, they could play an important role in national security and empowerment of low-income earners. The Prime Minister asked members of the business sector to invite their counterparts from other sectors to invest more in Thailand. He vowed the government would provide business incentives and investment privileges. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha is keeping a close eye on the flooding situation in the tourist city of Pattaya, Chonburi, and has assigned all relevant authorities to urgently deliver assistance to people in the areas. This is according to government spokesman Sansearn Kaew-Kamnert. He ordered instant venting of floodwaters out of the city, removal of broken down cars from roads, relocating important items to higher grounds, as well as using military trucks to facilitate public transport. Major General Sansearn revealed that the current flooding situation in several areas in Pattaya and Chonburi are under the influence of a tropical storm called Vamco that causes heavy rains in the province throughout this afternoon. The rainfall, coupled with the incoming tide, caused floods in Pattaya and severe traffic congestion across the province. Small cars are unable to move in such a high level of water on roads. Chonburi governor is mobilizing personnel from the Department of Highways, the Department of Disaster Prevention and Mitigation, volunteers and soldiers from the 14th Military Circle to urgently assist people affected by the flooding. Major General Sansearn strongly advised people in all provinces at risk of the Vamco storm to influence to keep a close eye on weather forecasts so that they could keep themselves ready to deal with more possible flooding. Severe weather warnings have been issued across the country as a low-pressure system is still lingering over many regions. The low-pressure system, which was once Tropical Storm Vamco, has expanded over the Central Plains in the East Coast and the lower region of the Northeast. It will bring heavy rains until this weekend to the following provinces: Ubon Ratchathani,ศรีสะเกษ สุรินทร์ บุรีรัมย์ นครราชสีมา นครสวรรค์ ลพบุรี สระบุรี นครนายก ประจินบุรี สระแก้ว ฉะเชิงเทรา ชลบุรี ระยอง จันทบุรี ตราด ระนอง พังงา and Phuket. Residents of these provinces have been warned to be cautious when leaving their homes. Waves in the Gulf of Thailand and in the Andaman Sea could reach a maximum height of 3 meters. The Ministry of Public Health has warned the public to guard themselves against dengue fever, influenza, and the hand, foot, and mouth disease, as they are particularly widespread during the rainy season. According to Director General of the Disease Control Department, Dr. Sopon Mekton, dengue fever has sickened more than 70,000 people and killed 62 since January. Around 5,000 to 7,000 people have come down with dengue fever each week during the past few weeks. Risk groups include obese people and women undergoing menstrual periods. Influenza has infected more than 44,000 people and claimed 24 lives since early this year. Provinces with the highest numbers of patients include Chiang Mai, Trat, Lampang, Bangkok, and Rayong. High-risk groups include small children, the elderly, and pregnant women. Meanwhile, hand, foot, and mouth disease has sickened more than 26,000 people and claimed 3 lives. Most patients are kids under 3 years old. Preventative practices are regular cleanups of toys and areas frequented by small children and the regular washing of hands. Deputy Prime Minister and Defense Minister Jennifer Witwong-Suan has revealed the government is working on the construction of a comprehensive national database. Jennifer Witt said the plan involves integrating existing data from each government unit into a massive national security database. The minister has instructed all related agencies to help construct the database, which should be divided into public and classified information. The National Security Council, or NSC, has assigned to establish a subcommittee to oversee the issue. NSC Secretary General Anusit Kunakon, meanwhile, stated that existing database in several government agencies have already been compiled by the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology, adding that in order to retrieve the information remotely, an online system linking these databases is needed. The National Legislative Assembly has scheduled a date to deliver opening statements in the impeachment of a former minister accused of being unusually wealthy. The NLA convened to discuss the impeachment of Somsak Prisana Nantakul, who was accused of the National Anti-Corruption Commission of being unusually wealthy while he held the post of Education Minister. The impeachment process is proceeding under the provisions of the 2014 Provisional Constitution. The legislature has resolved to schedule September 29th as the day for the opening statements from both the NACC and the accused. The NLA agreed to waive one of its regulations to allow its members to submit more questions from the opening statements were delivered. Since then, the legislature has reviewed a request from Mr. Somsak to add evidence, including photos and interview record of witnesses, all of which have been approved to be included in the deliberation of the case. The European Union, or EU, has extended a deadline for Thailand to solve its illegal fishing activities in the latest round of negotiations in Belgium. According to Prime Minister's office spokesperson Major General Sanson Galkamnod, a team of representatives has traveled to Brussels to ask the EU to consider lifting the ban for Thailand. The EU has decided not to place the ban on seafood imports from the kingdom at the end of October on 3 conditions. Thailand is to enforce the new Fisheries Act, reveal its plan on marine fisheries management, as well as come up with a national action plan within the same month. The Thai government has taken serious action against illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing since the EU threatened to ban seafood products from Thailand earlier this year. The National Council for Peace and Order, or NCPO, has urged owners of rental rooms and apartments across Thailand to install closed-circuit security cameras in their premises to enhance police investigations and security measures in the future. This is according to NCPO spokesman Colonel Wintai Suwari. The NCPO's request came after police raided several apartments where the Bangkok bomb suspects rented before the incidents and found limited evidence due to a lack of CCTV in some buildings. He suggested that CCTVs should be installed in a position able to record clear photos of people and vehicles in contact with buildings. The CCTVs, at the same time, he said, could commercially benefit their businesses. The owners can contact police and soldiers stationed in their neighborhood for further suggestions on the camera installations. The NCPO spokesman, Colonel Wintai, also asked the press to be cautious in reporting or commenting on the August 17th explosion, as their reports are still based on limited information and personal opinions. He said they should avoid writing stories leading to confusion or that have a negative impact on Thailand's relations with foreign countries. Bank of Thailand Governor Prasan Trairatwarakul has indicated during the BOT symposium that Thailand is vulnerable to changes in the world economy and suggested the country to adjust strategies accordingly. While presiding at the BOT Symposium 2015, Mr. Prasan gave a lecture under the topic of the Thai economy and the new economic context. The central bank governor pointed out that Thailand will inevitably be impacted by various economic changes, including the contraction of international trade and the slowdown in the economies of China and other Asian countries. As these changes are expected to directly affect Thai exports, Mr. Prasan encouraged all sides in the country to adjust themselves in an attempt to cope with the problem effectively. He recommended the business sector put more emphasis on the production of value-added products as one of the ways to make the most of their trade with foreign counterparts. Besides business operators, the BOT governor insisted that the public sector also needs improvement, especially in terms of the administration of state enterprises, in a bid to increase the country's competitiveness. He said many problems that have long been hindering state enterprises, including political interference and operational losses, must be solved quickly so as to build a strong foundation for economic growth. SME owners will be able to have their loans insured for as much as 100 billion baht under a portfolio guarantee scheme to help them keep their business afloat. The Thai Credit Guarantee Corporation, or TCG, the Fiscal Policy Office, and the Thai Bankers Association have made a collaborative effort under the scheme to offer a new loan insurance protection policy to SMEs with outstanding debt payment records. The change in loan requirements will also give business owners who may not be entitled to the insurance application according to previous rules a chance to seek capital support. The TCG will be required to pay no higher than 30% of the amount it has insured only for SMEs registered under a non-performing group in compensation for their failure to pay off their debts on time. The government will also help absorb entrepreneurs' burdens in paying yearly insurance fees for a period of 4 years, which will amount to 4 billion baht. And that's the end of today's edition of Thailand Moves Forward. Before we take a quick break, let's take a look at the exchange rates and commodity prices.
To maintain a strong nation, Thailand is promoting 12 core values for the good of the people. The 6th core value, maintaining moral integrity, considerateness, generosity, and sharing.
How could you do that to me? Stop it!
Huh?
Don't you get it? I don't need you anymore.
Just thought.
Enough. We're through. There's someone else in my life.
Say no to the past. Bring your own bag. Say no to plastic.
Multiple perspectives, insightful commentary on Thailand with The Insider every Sunday morning at 10:30 on NBT and NBT World.
Welcome to ASEAN, a community comprised of 10 countries, each with its unique culture and history, now unifying to bring added prosperity to the region. For centuries, each country remained independent, but now we are coming together to compete in the 21st century globalized world. ASEAN is bringing together more than 600 million citizens and a total land area of 4.4 million square kilometers, and is providing economic opportunities, trade, travel, and new educational possibilities. The combined GDP of all 10 ASEAN countries comes to a total of $2.4 trillion, which means the ASEAN entity ranks amongst the world's major economic powers. The future is here. Welcome to ASEAN, the community of opportunities. The Southeast Asia region is now becoming one.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline. The Chief of the Defense Forces of the Royal Thai Army, General Worapong Sanganet, has greeted General Gatot Nurmantyo on his visit to Thailand as the new commander of the Indonesian National Armed Forces. General Gatot Nurmantyo inspected the Guard of Honor before co-chairing the 9th bilateral meeting between Thai and Indonesian high-level committees with General Worapong at the Royal Thai Armed Forces headquarters. The two sides discussed ways to promote military ties, strengthen maritime security, and solve maritime territorial problems within the Southeast Asian region. The next meeting of Thai and Indonesian high-level committees will be held in Indonesia. The Indonesian general was appointed commander of Indonesian National Armed Forces in July of 2015. Japanese businesses are still confident of making investments in Thailand, as it is anticipated that Thailand will play a very prominent role in the Southeast Asia region once the ASEAN Economic Community takes shape, according to the Japanese Chamber of Commerce in Thailand. Representatives of Japanese businesses met Minister of Commerce Apiradi Tantraporn to discuss trade and investment in Thailand. Akira Murakoshi, the Chamber of Commerce's president, said after the meeting that the members at the Japanese Chamber of Commerce continued to increase, which implied that Japanese businessmen were still confident in making investments in Thailand. He suggested that Thailand rapidly make preparations to take advantage of the ASEAN Economic Community integration, as the country is slated to have a prominent role in the region after the AEC is formed. He also suggested that ASEAN member countries develop standardized goods inspection points to allow transportation of goods to proceed more swiftly. Mr. Akira said Japanese businesses were willing to help develop the skills of Thai workers in fields where shortages of manpower remained. He also suggested that channels to link Thai SMEs with their Japanese counterparts be sought, as the said linkage could provide a valuable tool for stimulating the region's economy. Elsewhere around the world, residents sifted through rubble on Thursday and saved what they could from homes destroyed by a magnitude 8.3 earthquake in central Chile that killed 11 people and forced 1 million from their homes and sent giant waves crashing into coastal areas. Aftershocks shook the South American country following Wednesday's quake, the strongest in the world this year and the biggest to hit Chile since 2010. But some residents expressed relief that the destruction had not been greater. The northern port city of Coquimbo, where waves of up to 4.5 meters or 15 feet slammed to the shore, was declared an emergency area by the government. The move gives the government a wide range of special powers, and it was aimed at speeding aid to the city and allowed soldiers to patrol the streets to ensure security and prevent looting. The homes of 610 people were damaged that they were unable to return by late Thursday afternoon. Some 179 homes were destroyed and 87,600 remained without electricity and 9,000 were without clean water. A panel in Japan's upper house on Thursday approved legislation for a security policy shift that would allow troops to fight abroad for the first time since World War II. Opposition lawmakers tried to physically prevent the vote in a chaotic scene carried live on national television. The legislation has sparked huge protests from ordinary voters. The government says the changes to the law welcomed by ally Washington are vital to meet new challenges, such as that presented by rising neighbor China, whose recent assertiveness in the South China Sea has upset countries in the region. But opponents say the revisions, which the government aims to get voted into law by the entire upper house this week, violate the pacifist constitution and could embroil Japan in the U.S.-led conflicts around the globe. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's ruling bloc has an upper house majority, but opposition parties have vowed to prevent a vote by the full chamber before Parliament disperses on September 27th, even if they have to use delaying tactics such as no confidence and censure motions. The legislation has already been approved by the lower house. General Gilbert Diandre, a shadowy spy master, formerly the right-hand man to topple President Blaise Compaoré, seized power in Burkina Faso at the head of a military coup on Thursday, less than a month before elections meant to restore democracy in the West African state. Burkina Faso teetered into chaos on Wednesday when the Presidential Guard arrested interim President Mikhail Kafando, Prime Minister Yakuba Ezekzida, and 2 ministers. Kafando was sworn in as a transitional president of Burkina Faso on November 18th last year, faced with the task of leading the West African country to elections in a year following a brief military takeover. Kafando was chosen by a committee set up after President Blaise Compaoré resigned and fled on October 31st in the face of mass protests against his attempt to change the constitution and extend his 27-year rule. Thousands of protesters had marched on Burkina Faso's presidential palace after burning the parliament building and ransacking state television offices at the end of October 2014, forcing Compaoré to scrap his plan to extend his 27-year rule. Stunning images of Pluto taken by NASA's New Horizons spacecraft were released on Thursday, showing a near-sunset view of the icy mountains and flat ice plains on the distant planet. The images taken in July show the icy plains Sputnik Plenum flanked by rugged mountains on the west. The photographs were taken from a distance of an estimated 18,000 kilometers. New Horizons became the first spacecraft to visit Pluto, and its entourage of moons has returned dramatic pictures, providing new high-definition data of Pluto. And that's it for today's edition of Newsline. For any comments or suggestions, please feel free to email them to us at newsline.nbt@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook. Just simply type in NNT or check out our website at thainews.prd.go.th/en. We are going to say goodbye now with footage of the giant panda Lin Hu, who is about to have her second cub. I'm Tra Thirakosan. Have a wonderful day. Sawasdee ka.